Now, I don't think it's hyperbole, but it's going to sound rather grandiose when I say that this might be the most significant and monumental Monday night matchup to end out a Week 6 slate in the history of the NFL, or at least in recent memory, because of all of the stakes, everything on the line tonight, and everything that has happened in the last 5 or 6 days for the New York Jets, with all of the drama, either on or off the field, that has followed New York since Aaron Rodgers back in March of a year ago made his intentions clear that he wanted to play as the quarterback for the New York Jets. Here it is, DRS, Week 6, the conclusion of this week in the NFL on a Monday night at MetLife. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, a slight 1.5-point underdog, although that line is working in favor of Gang Green, hosting the Buffalo Bills. Total 40.5. Donnie, our reactions, of course, after Robert Saleh was fired last week by New York on Tuesday morning have varied. Whose fault is it? Who calls the shots for this Jets organization? Was it owner Woody Johnson? Was it GM Joe Douglas? Or is it the de facto general manager in Aaron Rodgers? Jeff Ulbrich named interim head coach of this Jets team. Nathaniel Hackett demoted. Todd Downing, the new offensive play caller for the Jets. Regardless of how you feel about this situation, I think one thing holds serve tonight. All of the onus is on number 8, the starting quarterback for the Jets. Of course, his name is Aaron Rodgers. How do you see it playing out on this Monday night in MetLife?
I'm back in the Jets tonight. I am. And I don't really like the way Aaron Rodgers has played, but sometimes there are points in seasons where you have to make that stand. And Aaron Rodgers knows he's a good football player. Hasn't played good football this season. That's saying a lot at this point. But the fact that you're getting rid of Robert Saleh as your head coach, and now you're moving forward and saying, we have to be better as a football team, and it's on my shoulders. But also keep in mind, styles make fights as well. I think the Jets defense better than the Buffalo Bills. James Cook coming in this game, an electric weapon, banged up, questionable for this one. Khalil Shakir, we'll see if he gives it a run. So a lot of players that you like to lean on for the Buffalo Bills, questionable to say the least. Not really the case here if we're lining up with the Jets. And also keep in mind, the reason I love the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday to get that win, I thought they should have won by double digits. They played well enough to do that because how bad the Browns were, but the Browns were coming in, Ben, on 3 straight road games here. Look at what's happening tonight with the Buffalo Bills, at the Ravens, at the Texans, at the Jets. It's so hard when the NFL lines you up with those 3 straight road games just to try to make it through. And there were no layups. And like, oh, at this team we can easily beat. The Ravens are really good. The Texans are really good. We expected the Jets probably to be really good, but the results just haven't been there. But if I'm looking man-to-man, matchup for matchup, home field advantage, and getting points, I'm taking the Jets tonight.
And part of the reason, Donnie, that all of the impetus and pressure rides on a game in Week 6 is because of the talent the New York Jets have and because of the preseason expectation that Aaron Rodgers would be the quarterback to, at the very least, lead the Jets to the postseason for the first time in 14 years, snapping a 13-season playoff drought, by far the longest in the National Football League. So with that expectation comes the great pressure of tonight, because if it's not Robert Saleh, it's all on Aaron Rodgers. The New York Jets got off to a 2-1 start. They have dropped 2 games in a row. The Buffalo Bills won 3 straight to start the year. They have also dropped 2 games in a row. And of course, DRS, we talk totals now. 40.5 is the number. It seems limited for this matchup. If the Jets win what feels like a must-win game tonight, how much offense do we see at MetLife?
That's a trick question, right? You have one quarterback on one side that's fantastic in Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers, when he plays to his capabilities, can be a great quarterback. You look at that and say, how is it only 4.5? Why? Because it's a division game, and so much is at stake for both of these teams. You're looking at the Jets needing this victory just to get back to 500. You're looking at the Buffalo Bills. If they lose this game, they will be 500. You need both of these teams to protect the football in each side. But I think the key indicator is going to be, I understand, like Aaron Rodgers, new offensive coordinator coming in, feed Aaron Rodgers, but really, that ground game has to get cranked up for the New York Jets against a Buffalo Bills team you can run on, and I think it will. So the contrarian play, the easy one, like, hey, they're over 4. What are you kidding me? 21-20 gets the cash in this game with these 2 offenses. Don't get tricked into that one here. I think the game play for the Jets is play great defense like they've been playing and really get Breece Hall cranked up along with Braylon Allen. Not to say to keep Buffalo off the field, but just give that balance to help Aaron Rodgers on offense. I think we look at a game in the high 30s tonight.
64 rushing yards or less for New York in each of their last two losses. We will compare the quarterbacks and the props for Monday night after we hear from you to start hour number 3 next on the Early Line. Welcome to hour number 3 live right here on this Monday on the Early Line on Sports Grid and all across that Spiz Grizz network. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. One more hour to go on a monumental Monday in sports. Maybe the biggest Monday night football game to end out week 6 in the history, the last decade of the National Football League because of the storylines and the stakes tonight in MetLife. AFC East divisional duel between the Jets and the Bills. We will break down every single aspect here in this third hour. A huge Monday night in the greater New York area. The Yankees start off the ALCS at home in the Bronx, hosting the Guardians. Day baseball out on the West Coast. It's game 2 of the NLCS for the other New York club, the Mets, taking on the Dodgers. The Dodgers dominant in game 1. Will the Amazons even the set? Or will LA take command before we head up to Flushing and Queens? What a day we have, DRS. What a third and final hour in store here on TEL.
Yes, and also for those Mets fans out there, once again, it's a great day for you. You probably get beat in game number 2, then you put your Yankees hats on for game number 1 here and become Yankees fans once again. So had to get that extra dig here. And by the way, also, Mets-Jets fans could be down real bad by the end of the night. Let's hope not here. Let's keep the vibes high because we've got good ball games in baseball and fantastic NFL action tonight. But come on, man. Come on, Mets. What do you got?
We'll see what they have bright and early. 1 p.m. Pacific time out at the Ravine a little bit after 7 East Coast scheduled for first pitch in the ALCS. Listen, it is great. We've got afternoon baseball wherever you reside.
Holiday.
Right into prime time inside Yankee Stadium as well. Monday night football. Speaking of Monday night football, DRS, again, the stakes tonight at MetLife are monumental. The New York Jets, sub 500, dismissing and firing Robert Saleh less than a week ago. Jeff Ulbrich is the interim head coach. Aaron Rodgers runs everything in the organization. So with great expectation comes the mounting pressure on this Monday. Can the Jets beat the Bills? We ask all of you in Fade the Public. DRS, you know we've been keeping tabs on the Fade the Public poll throughout this season. When we ask a best bet, how are things playing out? We did have a component of it on Friday where it was who wins the 2 decisive Game 5s in the LDS. First in Los Angeles on Friday, then Cleveland on Saturday afternoon. The public was trying to figure out Padres or Dodgers because the Tigers and Tarek Skubal were going to win. That didn't happen. Public now 4-6 in their Fade the Public poll best bets. And Donnie, here's what is at stake tonight for the public. Either the Bills win or they don't. That is it. The public loves them some Buffalo tonight. What is the best bet for Monday Night Football at Sports Grid? The Bills laying a short spread, 1.5 on the road in East Rutherford, has more than 51% of the votes. Donnie, you are back in the Jets. You are fading the public. Tell the people why.
4-7, the public going to move after. I've never felt more comfortable here after a poll because, you know me, sometimes I'm with the public, sometimes I'm against them. But when I just flash this up, because here's what we do. I usually like one of the first people to vote on this. The minute it comes out, vote, hit the retweet button, but don't check it out until we get to this segment. That's done on purpose.
Of course.
I sort of want to be surprised where, like, the public is actually going. And I am surprised by this. 51% of the poll here between the Bills, Jets, over and under is going towards the Buffalo Bills. But why at this point? Like, I understand the Bills open up the season fantastic, loses of 2 straight games, a must-win for the Jets, and also 1.5 points, which means you better pick the winner. 19% coming up here with the New York Jets at this point. I think the Jets' defense is better, and yes, I'm expecting one of those bounces. This isn't a handicap saying, hey, you fire your head coach, you get a bounce back. I'm telling you, so the numbers probably support that at that point. How many times do we see a coach getting fired and the team rises to the occasion? And not necessarily like we're just playing for the new coach in the locker room. Aaron Rodgers is playing for his livelihood in the Jets media on this Monday night football game. If they lose to go to 2-4, you can wipe their season away, and every question that will come his way. Also, do you think he goes on McAfee Tuesdays, right? Is he even going to show up on Pat McAfee tomorrow if they get beat tonight by the Bills and drop to 2-4, and all they should be asking him is say, hey, you got your head coach fired. Now it's not working out for you at this point. And is he going to say, like, look, I'm coming on the show because I'm going to talk for 30 seconds and then totally avoid every question? He knows that's what's at stake at this point. The media will dog him. I expect a good performance. I don't even need a great performance out of Aaron Rodgers, because we'll go back to last year, Ben, right? The Jets. Give me average quarterback play with that defense, you win football games. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, give me average quarterback to play with that defense, you'll win this football game. I'm taking the Jets. Give me the points tonight. They win on Monday Night Football.
And DRS, you can scapegoat Robert Saleh. You can think that Jeff Ulbrich is the better answer, and maybe we buy into what the Jets PR department shared, that they believe in him as the future head coach, and everybody loves him, so they want to give him all the sample size. That's why they fired Saleh after only 5 weeks. Here are the numbers. Since 2002, an NFL team that fires their head coach middle of the season, in the immediate game after, 17-21 straight up, 22-16 against the spread. We're talking 14 cents of separation in the money line. It's an outright victory. It does not matter if the Jets lose by 1 and cover as a 1.5-point underdog. This is an outright win or else. You saw the numbers for Aaron Rodgers tonight, 213.5. DRS, when you look at the props, he's gone over that in 3 straight games for the Jets. But there is no argument. Aaron Rodgers has been the issue. 3 interceptions last week against the Vikings. Without any of those 3, they win the game. Without the pick 6 early in the opening half, the defense did enough to hold the Vikings to only 16 points. They would have won the game without a pick 6. They only allowed 1 offensive touchdown against Minnesota in London. Bo Nix and the Broncos, as you see there, go into MetLife, throw the ball for 60 yards and win 10-9. The issue hasn't been the defense. The issue hasn't been Garrett Wilson. The issue hasn't been Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich, or Nathaniel Hackett. The issue has been Aaron Rodgers. He needs to change that narrative tonight. And it's rather simple as well, Donnie. If Aaron Rodgers does lead the New York Jets to a victory tonight against Buffalo, the Jets vault in to the top spot in the AFC East. They would be 3-3, as would Buffalo, but the direct tiebreaker would be in favor of Gang Green, and thus first in the AFC East divisional standings.
Yeah, and that's going to be big to watch it play out, because as expecting Aaron Rodgers to be, decent tonight, you have all your weapons there. You are healthy. The defense is playing well. Rely on that defense. Live to fight another day. Don't airmail a, slant pass over the middle on 3rd and 12 because you're trying to make a big play. Punting sometimes is okay. And also, you're not getting the Buffalo Bills as 3-0 team coming in high and mighty. They've lost 2 straight football games, both on the road and another road game. And as you pointed out, this is a game, if you're the Jets, you have to win. You don't win this game, there's probably going to be no playoffs, and it's going to be unbelievably that, pounding that you're going to get from the New York media. But if we are just looking at a simple equation here, sometimes it's just how you're going to defend the pass tonight. The number 1 pass defense or pass coverage skills on Pro Football Focus is what? That's the New York Jets. Who's number 26? Yeah. That's the Buffalo Bills. You should have opportunities downfield for the Jets to make big plays. Why? Because I think they're going to get that ground game cranked up as well. You can run on the Bills. You can pass on that secondary. Aaron Rodgers, just be average Aaron Rodgers tonight. You'll come away with a victory.
DRS, of quarterbacks who have started at least half of the games of their team for their team this year, Aaron Rodgers has the 5th worst completion percentage in the NFL, 61%. Who's worse than that? Josh Allen. The Bills, in their 2 consecutive losses, have not looked good. Of course, when you win games, you score more than the opponent, so it should not be a surprise to know Buffalo had scored 31 or more in their first 3 games of the year, 20 or less in their last 2. Josh Allen, the completion percentage has been abysmal. Last week, 9 of 30. 9 of 30. I don't even know how it's possible for 131 yards. Plenty more of a breakdown on Monday night in MetLife What a Monday we have in the world of sports. So, of course, you need that proper perspective. The jack of all trades is here at Sports Grid's Tom Vecchio, joining us on the early line, bright and early on this Monday. Vecchio, I won't bury the lead. You're feeling good after a very profitable Sunday, now into Monday. We need that optimism and positivity to come through. Monday Night Football, the Jets and the Bills, a doubleheader of Monday playoff action in the LCS in MLB with some afternoon baseball as well, and of course some action on the ice, I am sure. What more could you want for a Monday?
Yeah, this is an awesome day of sports. This Monday night game, I have to say, has to be one of the tougher games to break down. There's so many moving parts for both teams. We've got some early NHL action starting at 1 p.m. Jack Hughes at plus 125 will get his first goal of the season versus the Utah Hockey Club. I'm ready to roll.
We'll not get Donnie's thoughts on the Utah Hockey Club as a name or franchise. We'll save that for another day, more than likely Wednesday. All right, Vecchio, let's look at the Monday night matchup in MetLife. There is so much at stake, even for a football game in week number 6, because of everything that has happened with the New York Jets and everything that is expected for Gang Green this year. Of course, they fire Robert Saleh this past Tuesday. Interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich takes the reins. A new offensive play caller for Aaron Rodgers and that offense as well. So, Vecchio, with everything that has happened and everything on the line tonight, how does that affect your handicap for this game that sees New York as a slight home underdog at MetLife?
Yeah, like I said, this is an extremely tough game because we are working with a bit of coach speak, and Jeff Ulbrich said that they want to be committed to the run game, which, you know, throws things for a bit of a loop. Is he just saying that? Does he actually mean it? What kind of usage are we even getting out of not just Breece Hall, but Braylon Allen, who has been legit good? And then on the other side for the Bills, you know, Josh Allen started off the year super hot. He's been kind of some down games over the past two. James Cook is expected to play, but he's not fully healthy. We're still waiting on an update on Khalil Shakir. So between injuries on the Bills side, and I'm just going to say like a giant question mark when it comes to the Jets offense, things are really, really tough. So we kind of have to read between the lines a little bit when it comes to saying, oh, they want to be committed to the run game. What does it actually mean? You know, how much are we actually going to be talking about that? Does Aaron Rodgers have full control at the line as he normally does to kind of audible out of plays, even if it is a run play? Does he have some kind of control? So it's a bit of a mystery tonight. I think I have some interesting angles to attack, though.
By the way, 40.5 is the total tonight, Tom, in this game. So if you're a contrarian bettor, it probably trends towards the under. But again, being a contrarian, saying if we get a lot of offense, boy, can this be profitable, because the numbers I'm about to talk to you about here, very atypical from what we usually see. Aaron Rodgers over 213.5. Josh Allen, Justin Fields like 197.5 is his passing prop. To throw 2 touchdowns, something these guys do relatively often. Aaron Rodgers to do that, plus 154. Josh Allen to do that, plus 168. Look at this bonanza of numbers, but it's all relative to the game plan, Tom.
Right, exactly. I think, you know, I'm on board with Allen over 197.5 passing. It's maybe one of my favorite props. Yeah, they may not have Khalil Shakir. We do need final confirmation, but the offense should be moving. And I'm also taking into account that if James Cook isn't healthy, we're going to have 2 backup running backs in there between Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. So I do think are legitimate options tonight to see some usage, even if James Cook does play. So I like Allen. I think they can move the ball in the air. If the Jets do control things on the ground and they do get out ahead, the Bills are going to have to pass, and Josh Allen's going to have to be Superman, as he always does. Yeah, the 2 down games aren't amazing when we're looking at like his recent consistency. We also see a game where he's a little bit light on the yards versus Miami, but we have to remember that game script got out of control when the Bills got up when Tua got hurt, right? So I really don't want to take that into account when we're evaluating his yards per game. I want to look at his overall yards per game and obviously taking into context how he was getting there. So I do really like Allen tonight.
197.5, as DRS mentioned, that is insane. It. Under in 3 of the last 4 for Josh Allen, including both of the losses. In the completion percentage in the last 2 games, 55% or lower, 9 of 30 somehow, some way against the Houston Texans. But maybe some bounce back. However, the Jets are the best passing defense in all of the NFL. Let's get back to Aaron Rodgers. His best bud, Nathaniel Hackett, no longer the offensive play caller. It is Todd Downing. And Vecchio, you could make a lot of assessments or takeaways from what the Jets have decided to do after only 5 weeks and the dismissal of Robert Saleh. For me, the onus is on one guy. It's Aaron Rodgers. So what do you expect out of Rodgers, what it means for the offensive game plan for the New York Jets, and how it affects your handicaps of the props on this Monday night?
I would like to say that Aaron Rodgers comes in and has like a really efficient game where he may not go over his attempts prop. He may go under that, but he may be going over his completion prop, right? So we're looking at like Aaron Rodgers taking full control of the game. He's audibling at the line. He's seeing what he wants. He is being that quarterback that Jets need him to be. And ultimately, he's very, very efficient. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have 2 passing touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits the under on his yards as well, because, again, we have to add in a little bit of this coach speak that they want to be committed to the run. So they're committed to the run, getting to the red zone, and then maybe Rodgers does flex the offensive capability and audible at the line to get some passing touchdowns. So I think this game is going to be hopefully a good indication of what we will see from the Jets moving forward, and we can use this as a new starting point and say this is what their offense will look like for the rest of the year, because I have some interest in Garrett Wilson under. I have some interest in going to both Braylon Allen and Breece Hall overs. I think there's some interesting angles to take combined Breece Hall plus Braylon Allen combined yards in the same game parlay, like 60 plus each combined. That is certainly on the table tonight.
Let's take a look at some of those receiving prop options tonight. If we're looking at Garrett Wilson for the New York Jets, top man on the totem pole here, Tom, 60.5 receiving yards, followed by Lazard, Hall, Williams, and Conklin. Now, the issue is going to be is we do need some information on who is actually going to be playing for the Buffalo Bills at that wideout spot, because right now, the only tight end / wide receiver listed at FanDuel right now, Dalton Kincaid, 39.5. Tom, let's play this out and say Shakir does not play tonight. Are there any advantages that you're going to take care of with maybe some cheap numbers on secondary options for the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, it would have to start with Dalton Kincaid. I would like to continue to take shots on Keon Coleman, the rookie, who has been good getting downfield a little bit. But, if the Jets are bringing the pressure, I think Dalton Kincaid should bring that safety net to Josh Allen. And again, after the game that they had 9 of 13 last week versus the Texans, like they need to not just establish the run, but just establish some confidence in the passing game. Let's get the ball. Let's move the chains. Let's pick up a first down. And Dalton Kincaid showed that last year, and that's the role he should be playing tonight.
You only have 2 props out for the skill players for Buffalo, Kincaid and James Cook, who is not fully healthy at this moment. Vecchio, you have shared with us what you believe of the skill position players for New York. What are the actual bets as you dive through on how you want to attack Breece Hall and perhaps Garrett Wilson as well?
Yeah, let's go to Breece Hall over 13.5 carries. He's averaging right at that number. He was over in the first 3, under in the last 2. I think this will be the flipping of the script where he does get over 13.5. They want to establish that run. They want to go to Garrett Wilson under 6.5, playing into that. They're not going to be passing as much. We do look at Wilson. He's been under in 4 of the 5 games this season. The last game, he was over with 101 yards. He had 13 receptions on 23 targets. I'm telling you, that's not going to happen tonight. He is not going to have 13 receptions. So I will buy into at least a little bit of the narrative and take Garrett Wilson under 16.5 yards tonight.
Tom, let's take a look at some Major League Baseball this afternoon. A doubleheader. Obviously, the Mets and the Dodgers get it started, followed by the Guardians and the Yankees. Any looks tonight in this Major League Baseball card?
I would be going to Rodon under strikeouts, under 5.5, and maybe that's a little bit of bias for me as a Yankees fan, because in theory, if he does hit the over, the Yankees would be in a good spot to be winning that game. So it is sitting at minus 155 or whatever is under 5.5 strikeouts. But we have seen the Guardians offense come to life. As you guys mentioned in the last segment, they were a little bit slow in the first portion of that series. They're starting to get a little bit better. Getting hit around this, that, or the other thing. There's a little bit of wind blowing out at Yankee Stadium tonight. It is a little bit cooler, but they will be quick to pull Rodon. They're coming off of plenty of rest. The bullpen is ready to go. So ultimately, I do like Rodon under 5.
Sports Grid's Tom Vecchio on a huge Monday, always delivering, whether it's Monday Night Football, baseball doubleheader in October, or Jack Hughes tickling the twine for the first time in 2024. Vecchio, we'll see you later on Sports Grid. More on the Early Line next. Live right here on this Monday on the Early Line on Sports Grid. I am Ben Stevens. He is Donnie Rightside. We set the stage one final time for a monumental Monday to end out Week 6. At MetLife, it's the Jets and the Bills. DRS, on paper, this game is a great conclusion to any week on Monday Night Football in primetime. Divisional duel, Josh Allen and Buffalo, Aaron Rodgers and New York. Then you add in the stakes. Whoever wins tonight will sit atop the AFC East. Even the Jets, with a victory at 3-3, would hold the tiebreaker advantage over Buffalo early. But then you add in everything that we have seen in the last 6 days and really the last 20 months since Aaron Rodgers decided he wanted to play for New York. Robert Saleh fired on Tuesday. Jeff Ulbrich, the interim head coach. Nathaniel Hackett demoted. Todd Downing promoted. And all of the pressure on Aaron Rodgers, it comes to a head tonight in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Jets remain a slight home underdog. Will the Jets win with all of the mounting pressure on Aaron Rodgers and Gang Green?
The Jets win tonight. I do believe that. And maybe you'd get a different angle out of me if James Cook was 100% healthy and Khalil Shakir was too. Then probably the Jets wouldn't have lost their last 2 games either at that point. But they did, and there's a chance that they're going to lose 3 straight games. And one of the hardest scenarios in professional sports, other than like let's go on the road on a Thursday night after no practice, and that's really hard to do, is having 3 straight road games in the NFL. You're exhausted at the end of it, and a must-win game for both of these teams, I think, actually favors the Jets slightly here. Now, I don't think anything in the room, Ben, actually changes with the offense per se on the Jets. You know, Nathaniel Hackett's now out there. Downing's going to call the plays, as you said. I understand all that. But you know what does change here when Robert Saleh gets fired? It's Aaron Rodgers understanding when he's in a moment by himself going like, it's actually on me now. I got to play good football. And you shouldn't have to recenter yourself as a Hall of Fame quarterback to say, oh, now it's finally on me. It's usually always on you. But I just think now he understands the weight and the magnitude of this game tonight where it's reflected. Because let me get something straight here. If the Jets lose this game 40-39 and Aaron Rodgers throws for 385 yards and 5 touchdowns and they still get beat in this game, then so be it at that point. It's not his fault. But the way the defense has played, it's been the offense's issues for why the Jets are under 500. He understands that. I expect a clean game tonight. I would be surprised if Aaron Rodgers turns the football over, which means, again, Aaron Rodgers being average should be good enough to win tonight. Rely on the running game, the defense, make those passing plays when they're available, and I think the Jets come away with a victory.
DRS, you already said it. The Bills are a bottom 10 rushing defense in the National Football League. It should be a game where the New York Jets can get back to the ground. With that being said, they have averaged 2.8 yards per carry and 2.6 yards per pop in their 2 consecutive losses, 64 yards or less in the last 2 for the Jets against the Broncos and the Vikings. The defense for New York has done enough. They held Minnesota to 16 offensive points, 1 offensive touchdown last week in London. They held the Broncos to 10 offensive points and 60 passing yards out of Bo Nix 2 weeks ago on Sunday. The issue has not been Robert Saleh, the coaching staff, or the defense. The issue has been Aaron Rodgers. 3 interceptions last week against the Vikings. In fact, DRS, in both of the 2 straight losses for Gang Green, 45 pass attempts or more for Aaron Rodgers. Not exactly how you would describe a picture-perfect offensive recipe for a 40-year-old quarterback coming off a torn Achilles. It is time to get back to the ground game. I will just say this. Aaron Rodgers has been sacked 8 times in their last 2 losses, only 5 times in the first 3 games of this year. There has been some issue with the cadence, perhaps. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers delivers. And DRS, if you do believe in the Jets, how much do you believe in either Breece Hall or Braylon Allen tonight?
I do. I really do, because I think that's going to have to be the center point of your argument of why the Jets are going to win this game. Yes, Aaron Rodgers can throw for a lot of yards. Yes, he can be productive. We just haven't seen that yet, and I just haven't seen that explosiveness out of Breece Hall just yet. Braylon Allen is a quality backup. Both of those guys should eat tonight. Some other fun prop bets, too, as you see some of those primetime props coming up. Yeah, we're expected Breece Hall to be that lead dog in the backfield, 60-plus yards rushing should be on the table. But how about some fun ones under game specials? Breece Hall to record 5 rushing yards in each quarter tonight, Ben, plus 140 price here. If you think he's going to get a little bit dangerous here and hit that 60 to 70 number, how about Breece Hall to record 25 plus rushing yards in each half tonight, plus 155? So other ways to get involved that don't sound so crazy, but can still get you that plus money. I do think it's going to be paramount that the Jets play good defense, which they will, which means that running game is going to be in play, Ben, for a full 4 quarters. Not we're in the late third quarter and the Buffalo Bills are up 27-13 and we can no longer run the football anymore. I do think the catalyst for the game plan is the Jets to return to their roots, get some explosive plays out of the run game, work off of play action here. Garrett Wilson should be able to eat Conklin over the middle. Mike Williams might even get involved in the red zone here. But for me, it is the Jets' ground game. If Breece Hall is explosive tonight, the Jets are going to be able to win this game.
And Donnie, part of that is also because of the health and the status of some significant contributors for Buffalo, both defensively, but mainly on the offensive side. Khalil Shakir, as you heard from Dr. Chow, don't expect him to play tonight. No props listed. James Cook slightly banged up, but does have the numbers out. In a number on Josh Allen, we may never see again, but is indicative of how bad the offense has looked the last 2 weeks for Buffalo. 197.5 is the passing yards prop. Donnie, I think the Jets could win this football game. I think that's a must bet because it's just a number based on precedent you might never see again in the career of Josh Allen.
It's extremely low. And also, if Cook is not there, then it starts to elevate those anytime rushing touchdown props here for Josh Allen. And also, you're just taking a look at if they are down, his rushing props themselves to go over and rush for 45 to 50 yards to sort of take control. And yes, if I do think they're going to lose that game, you are going to be throwing. It's not a lot of yards. You hit 200 here. And quite frankly, he probably should do that regardless of any defense that he's actually playing or any other teammates that he has available here. I think it's going to be a good game. And also keep in mind, this is the Meadowlands tonight. 15-mile-an-hour winds are expected here with much higher sustained winds, maybe 25 mile an hour or higher with the gust here. Keep an eye on that too.